Well, hi there, folks. Welcome back to Mossy Roots Farm, where our babies scream for their mother that is literally 10 feet from them. Take care of your child. Go make it stop screaming so I could do a YouTube video. Farming is like a double-edged broadsword. Farming is like Excalibur. Now, you may say, what in the world does a famous sword have anything to do with farming? And I'll tell you. I was on Facebook, where I get a lot of my inspiration because I deal with a lot of hard-headed, stubborn, cantankerous old farmers. And somebody said in a off-grid homesteading style post, what are you crazy guys gonna do when you have to feed cows in an apocalypse? Let's say you have exactly zero machinery, you have exactly zero power, zero diesel, zero whatever. What do you do? Well, I told the gentleman, I said, I don't need grain. I don't need a vet. I don't need supplements. I said, I've been raising these guys for 3 years with zero grain, zero supplements, and only vet checks when required to go places, like if we were taking them to a show or something along those lines. Oh my goodness, you are dying. I know, your mother's right there. Zip it. Why I say it's a double-edged sword is while he was trying to cut people down with his sword, I was able to cut him on the backside of his own sword. He was trying to declare that I couldn't do what I've been doing for 5 years, 3 years, depending on, like I've had these guys for 5 years, but been doing this regeneratively for 3. And so I was able to prove him wrong. Now, this gentleman said he's been raising cows for many years. And by the looks of it, he could have 30 years of experience, maybe 50 years. So this guy gets out his broadsword, tries to chop me down, and I take it and reverse it right onto him. That's my point, is that you have to be careful. A lot of famous activists right now are discussing artificial insemination, right? You see it a lot in the dairy industry. I watched a guy in Australia who does goats have a little argument with somebody about that. But that's what I mean. Every time one of these activists comes at you with a sword, the backside of the sword is able to take him out. Because that guy flat out said, zip it, I'm trying to do a YouTube video. I don't artificially inseminate. I let my bucks do all the work. Like us. Papa Murphy does all the work. In general, I'm not letting him breed his daughters, so we are going to artificially inseminate his daughters, but, you know, he does the rest of the herd because it works out better for us that way. So that's what I mean, is you have to be careful, because anytime you come at somebody, they have the same ammunition to come back at you. And I recall this a lot with these older farmers, like the guy in the Facebook post, that say you can't do something because I've been doing it for 50 years and that doesn't work. Well, then I can say the same thing about my farm. Grandpa used to continuously graze this land, never rotate them, never do anything, just continuously graze. Well, the reason I don't do that is because I don't ride a horse to work. I don't heat my home with coal. You know, we have evolved, we have advanced, we have done these different things to get by, to expand, to be better than the way we were before. You know, if we only do what we used to do, then where are we ever going to improve? How are we ever going to change? How are we ever going to get better? So that's my point is you've got to be careful when you're having a conversation with somebody, because you may be coming at them with a sword, but forget that you can get bit by the same sword you flung at them. You know, and that's why I have to be careful too, because I can flat out say I don't use minerals, I don't have vet checks, and I don't artificially inseminate. Mr. Murphy here does that for me. Ain't that right, buddy? But that doesn't mean you should do that. That doesn't mean you have to do that. That just means I don't do that. But it really bothers me when folks come out there, assume that they know everything because they've been doing something for 50 years, and then I can prove them wrong. And let's take me out of the equation, right? Let's take this young idiot kid out of the equation. What about Greg Judy? Greg Judy's been doing this for 20, 30 years, I believe. You know, let's take Steve Kenyon. Steve Kenyon's been doing this for 20, 30 years. He runs his own podcast. He does Gateway Research Organization. So don't take some idiot young kid's advice. Take an experienced old man's advice. You can do this stuff. You don't need grain. You know, look at how fat these things are. This mama is not bred at all because her calf is too young. And boom, she looks 8, 9 months pregnant. This one, same situation, looks 8, 9 months pregnant. They clearly do not have a feed issue. They clearly do not have a body condition issue. So that's my point. These guys don't have to have grain. I've been preaching this ever since I started, and that's why I'll continue to preach it, because I want to prove to these cantankerous old farmers that you don't need half the stuff they claim you need. And it's true. Look at this, you know? All this really good body condition, all of this really nice grass that they have been eating this whole time, and they have great, beautiful babies. Yes, you're a baby, but the wrong type of baby. This baby here, nice, big, beautiful baby that's going to run because I'm touching its butt. You know, this guy right here, he's a 1.5, almost 2-year-old steer, and he looks beautiful, and he's only had grass. So that's what I mean. I can show the proof. I can bring the receipts, but are you willing to look at them? Are you willing to be wrong? But that's why I say we have to be extremely careful when we're pulling our broadswords out, because what'll happen is you go to cut the other person and then you get cut in the process. So we have to be careful. Not that opinions aren't important, not that opposition isn't important, but again, different strokes for different folks. And I'll end with this. You know, there's a lot of different things out there that you can do in farming. Not any one of them is right, not any one of them is wrong. They all have their advantages and disadvantages. I am able to say that these cows have eaten a diet of no fertilizer hay, of no mineral supplements, no vitamin supplements, no nothing extra, nothing additional. And some folks are willing to pay for that. If you're one of those folks, awesome. If not, I have no issues with you eating grain-fed beef from a slaughterhouse or grain-fed beef from some other foreign country, because that's where all of our grain-fed beef comes from. It comes from like Brazil. It doesn't even come from the U.S. Well, anyways, guys, hopefully the rant wasn't that terrible. Hopefully you guys found it interesting. I'd like to show more of that. I'd like to do more of that because I want to motivate people. I want to kind of be a motivational speaker, but I need viewers to motivate. So you guys will have to stay tuned for the next one and see what kind of stupid stuff I talk about.